All right, I guess we are live. Good morning, everybody. A little late to the live stream this morning, and boy, that's a missed opportunity, I will say, because it looks like the market has been in a free fall. But that's okay. A lot of times that noise and those massive candles can be bad, so stick to the game plan. A little late to the start, but doesn't mean we can't make money in the market today. Let's go over news real quick. Let's see what's going on. Again, my blue lines on my chart are my support and resistance levels, so I'm watching to see if this bounces or if it breaks again, we'll take a short and we'll ride it down to this next level. In terms of news, the headlines driving the market, Wall Street traders left stocks wavering at the end of a volatile week with a decline in chip makers, countering an oil pullback that sends resilience in corporate America's earnings engine. So yeah, just a sell off in chips and stuff. Let's see what the S&P is doing here on my other screen. S&P is down as well. S&P is broken a level. That could bring the NASDAQ down past this current level. Need to mark on my other chart here the levels that I have. I like to keep my charts consistent. So yeah, this is kind of where I'm watching to see if we get a little bit of a bounce here and a retracement back up. I've seen these things come down and then 10:30 they bounce right back up. So there's nothing off the table, if you will. I happened to get on my phone and look while I was eating breakfast here a little bit ago, and I took a paper trade short right up here. And by the time I got to my office in just a few minutes, let's see, this was 10:20 to 10:30, basically 10 minutes. It had swept all the way down through a level. So maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get that same setup again. We shall see. But not going to chase it, just going to wait for the right setup. We're either looking for a confirmation of a bounce up or we're looking for a confirmation of breaking that support level, which it looks like it's doing. Right now my bias is still to the negative. The S&P is broken down. It continues to push. Yep, I think the NASDAQ is going down, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. Let's wait for a decent entry. It's 1 minute chart. I think we can get a better entry. One minute chart is showing like that. It's just kind of wavering. Tempted, but it's not tempted. What's the S&P doing? I like to overlay the two sometimes. S&P is showing a little bit of a bounce. Be patient. Yeah, that's the S&P took that slide down and then started reversing back up. We'll wait till we see this move either get going or show failure to reverse. And then we'll make our determination. Let's go back to the 5 minute chart on this. Bring it within view. Let's see what we're working with. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I know I did. I went out and got to play golf a bunch of times, so that was awesome. Weather was pretty good. It was hot, but it was good. I'm going to charge all these things up while we wait. Wondering if we're going to come back up into one of these fair value gaps and then come back down. Be nice to have a crystal ball. Yeah, the S&P is only down 7 points. We're down 240 on NASDAQ. NASDAQ's been harder to trade. It's just so volatile. Waiting to see what kind of happens right up in this zone right here. See if it gets a rejection or what we're looking with. Uh, there's a push down. All right. Taking 4 short. Put our target down here. It wasn't the best entry, so it's too late to move it now. I don't want to get stuck in this, but I think I may have. I think I may have just gotten stuck in it. I like to take my entries higher up where the stop is, to be honest with you. All right, good. It went in our favor. Up 240, 250. Keep going. Let's make some money today. Bring this down here. Guarantee lock in 300. We can always re-enter if it decides to pop back up, but I want to secure some of this profit. All right. Good start. $316 or $300.16 on that trade. There's the big wick back up on the 1 minute chart. I have the 1 minute chart down here and the 5 minute chart that you guys are seeing. I like to have both just as references. Sometimes the 1 minute chart can show little exhaustion candles with the green better than the 5 minute chart can. So yeah, I compare the two of them. All right. Throw it in the chat for everybody. Let's see here. Plus 316 cents after a single trade short around 10:40 a.m. Cool. Yeah, so as I start to live stream this more and more, I know a lot of my friends that know me in the real world obviously have asked me to, explain to them what I do and how I do it. And I just figured to make a video series like this so that people can tune in and watch at their own convenience, if you will. And I do plan to bring on some other special guests that I've talked to that are professional traders that honestly just make money. We don't really live stream because we don't need to. So it's one of those things where we can get some real value if we actually sit down and take a moment to, go through our processes, how we do it, what we look at, the technology that we use in terms of the charting platforms and the brokerage accounts and everything that we go through, the kind of sizing we do, the risk management we have, how long we'll hold positions. I mean, just so many questions and answers that we can have and grow as a community. So if you're interested in doing something like that, please reach out to me, message or comment, and let's get on a call or a chat and figure out how we can add value and put more out there in the world. That's really why I started YouTube. I used YouTube for everything to learn for myself, and then when I got good at some stuff, I started posting videos back on my other channels so that other people could reference that material, and it's been beneficial for I think a lot of people. So just something to keep in mind. If you have something to say, feel free to say it. All right, looking for a potential rejection here again. We might be able to double dip if it comes back up here and rejects, which it looks like it's rejecting a little early, just off that bottom of that candle. I'd say the rejection zone, if I can draw it here fast enough. The rejection zone is really this area right there, that whole area. From the bottom of this candle to the top of this candle, it's kind of the zone I'm thinking is going to be problematic to reverse through. Now we have fair value gaps up here and we have one down here. Let's go up to the 15-minute chart. Okay, that's exactly what I was seeing. So we're in a 15-minute fair value gap, more or less, on that, which is why we're doing what we're doing here. So we can really almost expand this. I'd say it's kind of up to there. And let's jump back to the 5-minute. Bring this into frame for everybody. Does it help if I do that? No, not really. I don't think that helped anybody. I feel like it helps for the buy and the sell. You can see it a little better. Let me just try to help this out for the chat in the group. There we go. Hopefully that'll be easier for you guys to see in the live stream. You can see the buy and the sell and the profit and loss and stuff. And a key area here for a potential rejection again. We've made such a big move down so rapidly. I'm wondering if we're just going to enter like a chop zone here for a while, especially given that it's 10:45. Let's see. Let's see. Looking at the S&P on my other screen here, it's kind of in the same position. It could reject at any moment, or it could continue to rally. It still has more room to rally up before it would be like a fully confirmed rejection again. Just like we see on this chart, you have that room there. So just kind of being patient. I don't want to take a short and then get pinched in it and give back the money I've already made because I'm speculating. The last trade, I did not like my entry. I like to take my entries closer to where people put their stop losses because then I can have a tighter stop loss and I have more potential to be in a profitable trade. Whereas trying to chase the market, you're basically buying in at the highs or the lows, wondering if you're going to go lower or higher. And because of that, you don't know what's going to happen. But if the market's already been there and it's potentially going back there, it just moves easier. So something to keep in mind. I remember watching a clip and they said one of the biggest differences between amateur traders and pro traders will take their entries and exits at the stop losses. Amateur traders will take the obvious setups and put their stop losses and take profits where they think the reversals will happen, and that's where the pros take them out. So I think that there's something very valid to that, where you'll see the market come after your stop loss all the time unless you do something differently. The pros definitely don't put their stop losses on round numbers. They don't put them in the obvious areas. And that is just to avoid being scooped up by the algorithms and other people that want their entries and know that there's going to be people there. All right, this could be a little push down here. Let's see, I got the S&P on this chart. S&P is showing a little weakness here. This is a big candle for it. And it's still showing a little green. You're looking at the 1-minute chart here, a lot more activity, as you can see on the 1-minute chart. Still at a negative 45% delta. That's pretty strong. Anything above 30% is the trend. Now, a couple things I'm watching out for here in this whole area is obviously one of them, but also the super trend sell line and the 50-day moving average. Those are points where I think it may come up, touch them, and then we don't know what's going to happen. It may continue to rally up. It may pop back down. I don't know. But we were getting so oversold there without major news. We may just push right back up there and get out of this, I don't know, funk, if you will, that we've been in this morning in the sell-off. So waiting to see what we can get out of this. At the top of that 15-minute fair value gap I had marked out. Okay, pushing through it a little bit. That's good. That is good. All right, yeah, there it goes. Kind of pumping up. Now we're at the super trend line. Sometimes it rejects off there. Sometimes it goes right through there. I'm thinking it's going to come up and touch this 50-day EMA if I had to guess. There's so many fair value gaps to cover on the way down. I mean, look at that. We're just walking right into one here on the 15-minute. So many fair value gaps there. Hard to want to take a long, even though part of me wants to take a long. We're just so far extended away on the 5-minute from the 50-day, the 200-day, the super trend, and we're just really had a massive sell off across every single thing. The only one that's close is the 1-minute chart is down here. Just have to be patient and see what happens. Take the high probability setup I'm comfortable with. Bring that into frame better. There you go. Could see this doing a little rally like I've been saying. Let's see what it does. At least to this 50-day EMA, or 50-day moving average, I believe is what it is. Yeah, the moving average, 50-day and 200-day is what I use. Ugh. Creeping up on it. And just looking back at my last trade, like I was telling you, I took that position down here. My entry I would have ideally had up here when it comes and it touches that. That's more of where I'd like to enter, but I broke my own rule. I entered here and I got really lucky on that candle to push down because it barely made new territory and then it turned around and came right back up. So had I sat there and waited till this candle formed, I would have never gotten out of it. I mean, maybe right here if I got like really lucky or something, but yeah, it's trading can be tough. If I can go through an entire trading session and take one trade, I'm happy. That's the kind of patient day that really makes some traders very successful. Is not trying to overtrade, just waiting for that super high probability setup where you're like, I'd be silly not to take this. And then that's the one you take. So forcing trades does not work out. All right, we are pushing closer and closer to that 50-day moving average. But again, we still have the fair value gap right there on the higher time frames. This is one where the stream gets a little boring. This will be cut out in post for the actual video I put on the internet. Not the live stream. I leave the live streams as they are, but I'll clip down the trades that I had and put them on the channel so people can watch them. So if you miss a live stream, you can tune in and see how the trading session went. Gotta be patient. I think for tomorrow, I'm going to try to set up something that I can get a little music in here, some background music, some like licensed music or whatever you do. There we go. Touch the 50 day. Could have been a trade, but a lot of chop. Like I was saying, be patient. Wait for the higher setups. The better setups, not the higher setups, the better setups. 5 minute right into a fair value gap. 15 minute fair value gap. 30 minute fair value gap. There's just nothing that says take a trade one way or the other yet. I like that we're breaking this. I'd like to see this come up here to the 28,208 area. That could be a good exhaustion of some of these 5 minute fair value gaps. Also, to retrace some of the money that we all lost in the long equities. I'm going to take one long, one contract long. Just a single. Nothing heavy. I'll put my stop kind of up here. Because if I'm wrong, I want to know it quickly. Actually, I'm going to put it just below the moving average there. Let's see what happens. And this is just a single contract for an extension play if it ends up going up. Versus the first trade I had was 4 contracts. So totally different margin requirements and totally different financials when it comes down to how much money you make or lose pretty quickly. So just be aware of that. These are heavily leveraged products. I need to see this thing pump pretty soon here. Otherwise, it's going to show some weakness because we're walking into those 5 minute fair value gaps. There we go. There's a little bit of one. Come on, just go. Putting the stop up there just because for what I wanted to see, I wanted it to happen a little faster. Oh, there it is. That's okay. I didn't like that it wasn't just really going. I like to see a little more volume pick up. I made $1.64 on that trade. Yay. Yeah, I like to see volume pick up a little bit. I don't like that the RSI is getting a little higher up there. I don't know. I talked myself out of the trade chat. It appears I would have been right. Oh well. All right. Well, you know what? Rather than sitting here, I'm going to take my $300 and call it a day. Go do other things right now because I see this chopping around for a long time, to be honest with you, and I don't want to sit here and waste your time or my time without a clear trend. So tomorrow I'll see you here probably around 9:40. I'll be on a little earlier like I normally am. Thanks again for watching this. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you very soon. Take care. Bye.